Hello everyone, welcome back to GGN. This is part 3, the final part for today for Wednesday, May 5th, 2013. I'm Darko. Alright, ready to go here. Scientists create thought-controlled flying robots. Scientists at the University of Minnesota have developed a new type of interface that allows humans to control airborne robots with electricity generated by thoughts, according to research published Tuesday in the Journal of Neural Engineering. So, it's called EEG. It measures the brain's electrical signals. Software between the user and the robot knows what brain signals look like. Then someone thinks of raising a clenched fist, so the user dwells on that image. The robot performs a specific task. So you can see this technology being used in something like, I'm not sure if they're called, not Ewoks, but I can't think of the names right. Destroyers, I think they were from Star Wars. Also, I see in the future, like definitely, like you could see spaceships. Intergalactic type spaceships using this type technology where you're actually part of the machine where you're hooked up into it and you don't actually push buttons and all that. You steer it and all that with your mind. Of course, that begs the question, what do you need humans for then, right? So, mind-controlled exoskeleton lets paralyzed people walk. So this is all nice and hunky-dory. But like I said before, this is just part of the DARPA bots and stuff. This is what it's really for. So, and turning quote soldiers into super soldiers. But this is how they try to sell it. So it says here, Mindwalker, the world's first exoskeleton, aims to enable paralyzed and locked-in people to walk using only their mind. High school teen builds one-man submarine for $2,000. So it says here, the submarine's body may be constructed from drainage pipes hatched from recycled skylight, but according to its 18-year-old inventor, the single-person U-boat can plunge to a depth of 30 feet and has already completed 3 successful dives. It took him 6 months and $2,000. So it goes on here, and it says here the submarine has ballast tanks to maintain its depth equilibrium, air vents that bring oxygen down from the surface, a functioning PA, and a range of emergency systems including backup batteries, a siren, strobe lights, breathing apparatus, a pump to fight leaks. The vessel can also remain submerged for up to 2 hours and travels beneath the waves at 1.5 miles per hour. He says he's going to use it to explore the lake, see fish, and hopefully find a bit of history like the cannons from my neighbor's historic house. They were dumped in the lake during renovations in the 60s, so... yeah, see, I agree with this person in this comment board. Wonderful that he has such supportive parents. My dad used to just truck my projects off to the dump. So, same here. It's I had a lot of ingenuity when I was a kid. If only I had the freedom to do so, and the encouragement to do so. Like not just from my family, but from from schools. Just imagine how many things, how many inventions could actually be grassroots. Cheese, of course, then you get the man in black and suits and that with sunglasses showing up at your door. Cheeses from plants. Study reveals child confusion. So, where most people used to live on the farm, now they live in these mega cities, very out of touch with nature. It says almost a third of UK primary pupils think cheese is made from plants, and a quarter think fish fingers come from chickens or pigs, says a survey. So, nearly 1 in 10 secondary pupils think tomatoes grow under the ground. It says the charity says figures prove the need for better teaching about cooking and healthy eating. I think it has more to do with the education system, and they're really dumbing people down. Although I do see younger people that are very intelligent, so not taking that away from them. I'm giving them credit for fighting through all the eugenics and indoctrination, that they can still come out, probably even better than some of the baby boomer generations. But it probably takes a big toll, and that's why you probably have a lot of psychological issues. Survey also revealed confusion about the source of staples such as pasta and bread among younger pupils, with about a third of 5 to 8-year-olds believe that they were made from meat, bread. The Russians proved small-scale organic can feed the world. That's, of course, if you don't get SWAT teamed and have your own little vegetable garden in your front yard get tore up by the city. So it says here, on a total of about 20 million acres managed by over 35 million Russian families, Russians are carrying on with the old world technique which we Americans might learn from. They're growing their own organic crops they say, and it's working. 92% of the entire country's potatoes, 70%, almost 80% of its vegetables, almost 90% of all its fruit, and feeds 71% of the entire population from privately owned organic farms or house gardens all across the country. They're not huge agro farms run by pharmaceutical companies. These are small family farms in less than an acre garden. Moving on here, Disney's electronic wristband illustrates why companies push contactless wallets. So it says here, they announced the electronic wristband for visitors to its theme parks. And it says here, it illustrates why companies like Google and cell phone networks are pushing the idea of contactless technology in phones for payments, tickets, boarding passes. Short answer, they want data. So they talk about all the conveniences that you get from it, but it says here, the Disney's Magic Band program has significant benefits to the company too. It collects valuable data each time it's tagged or used by something, providing a new perspective on what Disney's customers are doing at the resorts. High-tech tattoo that could replace all your passwords. We've covered this before. Motorola reveals plans for ink and even pills to identify us. The Moto X is expected to launch later this year. It says a biostamp electronic tattoo is made of silicon and contains an electrical circuit, antenna, and sensors that bend and move with the wearer's body. The vitamin authentication pill is powered by acid in the wearer's stomach and creates an 18-bit signal picked up by mobile phone. So, Jesus, man. First thing I think, of course, is if it's going to be powered by acid, acid is helped to break down food. It aids digestion. So it makes me wonder if it's going to mess up the digestion system. But digital health. Me personally, I think there's always some kind of compromise with health. Just me using this computer monitor, an LED monitor, and using this mouse, I know it's messing up my body. But it's just unbelievable that people wear these Bluetooths, that they would want to wear these Google glasses, that they would have cell phones smashed against their head, working on a nice tumor, getting irradiated, that they would be spraying chemicals on us, aerosol chemicals, on a daily basis globally. Then they have nanoparticles and sensors and these little pieces of electronic material, these nanofibers in your body, in your bloodstream, and that's going to have effect on you, but that's not enough. People want to have more of that. Science tries, and then they want to bitch and complain about cancer rates. Science tries to get inside your head with a $1 billion brain. The Two Ambitious New Projects aims to find out just how the human brain works. So, the European Commission revealed that it selected a human brain project and future emerging technologies flagship project. Cost $1 billion over the next decade. Looking at to build a computer simulation of a human brain. So they want us. Me personally, I think the psychology. That's what psychology was also really about. It was about controlling the masses. I think Edward Bernays and the advertising industry kind of displayed that. Look like how I mentioned last week or earlier this week about how education and entertainment, advertising have actually helped defeat the entire planet of humans. So whoever the powers may be. They understand the brain. I think they've understood it for a long time, which is why they're so successful at being able to dominate so many people. I guess now they just want to be able to duplicate it enough to where they can phase out human beings and they don't need them anymore, and then they can replace those pilots with complete autonomous robots. The CIA invests in robot, of course, going out in space. Talking about just recently the Mars trip. This whole thing about going to Mars. And they say, then they have to deal with radiation. They could have, all kinds of physiological effects, for the trip. That's why they would have drones or robots or androids. CIA invests in robot writers. Editor says a robot would write a piece based on its programming, and journalists should write based on facts on his perspective. Journalists are handcuffed as it is, in the hopes of not offending anyone, being politically correct, including Washington officials. Real journalism is nearly dead. So it says here the Obama regime is shifting control of the country's drone program from the CIA to the Pentagon, but robots can still find jobs at Langley as writers. So it says here Incutel, which has helped bring about Facebook, so you know where that's going for data mining and that. Psychological Profiles has invested an unknown amount in a company called Narrative Science. It's capable of turning massive data sets into easy-to-read written prose. Press shakedown. Labor Department wanted $1 million from AP in the latest blow to the Obama regime's claim to be the openest administration. Word emerged today, and the Department of Labor sought to charge a news organization more than $1 million for information on secret emails. Shifting to weather, that 4 dead, 8 missing in Central European floods. So Austria and Germany, Czech Republic. Moving on here, we have Mississippi River breaches levees, threatens Missouri homes. A barrier that holds back the Mississippi River near its confluence with the Missouri River was breached on Tuesday, sending waters 2 miles inland, threatening homes and prompting new warnings for residents to leave the area. U.S. sees longer wildfire season thanks to climate change, so these idiots are still going to pound this out. Apparently this article doesn't rate a picture. Ed Davey attacks newspapers who report destructive climate skeptics. Newspapers are wrong to give a platform for campaigners and groups that question whether climate change is caused by human activity, Ed Davey, the Energy Secretary, has said. He attacked destructive and loudly clamoring skepticism about climate change and criticized parts of the media for the way they report that skepticism. French ski resorts open for skiing in June for the first time in history. It's been a cold 2013 so far in Central and Western Europe. Last weekend, snow fell in Austria, Germany, and the Czech Republic. Global warming in France in June. So this is a photo credit in June. Europeans are wondering whatever happened to global warming. So it goes on here and said it looks like it's a little ice age conditions have gripped Europe over the last 5 years are actually signs of global warming after all. It says fortunately very few people believe them. French TV reported a combination of icy winter and a chilly spring is meant for the first time ever. In the month of June, skiers will have the option of heading to the Pistes and French Pyrenees. Kim to military, Kim Jong-un, hurry up on that world-class ski resort. So he wants it finished by the year's end. They also made some kind of other amusement park as well that they've already, I think it's already opened. All Kim said on the matter is that the resort will provide the people in school, youth, and children with highly civilized and happy living conditions. They say whatever that means. Dear Leader dreams of sushi. You can go there and check it out. Talking about this Kenji Fujimoto. For 11 years, he was Kim Jong-il's personal chef. It says here that it was part of his job to fly to North Korea jets around the world to procure dinner party ingredients, to Iran for caviar, Tokyo for fish, Denmark for beer. He flew to France to supply the Dear Leader's $700,000 cognac habit, and when the Dear Leader craved McDonald's, it was Fujimoto who dispatched to Beijing for an order of Big Macs to go. Acid jobs, all this anti-fracking language, misses the target, and I'm very concerned it is a diversion, says this environmental group leader. Environmentalists focus on fracking, which uses water and chemicals to shatter rock formations and release oil or gas, threatens to divert attention from what some environmentalists are starting to see as the real threat, acid jobs. It's an old well completion method that involves pumping chemicals such as hydrofluoric acid into wells to melt rocks and other impediments to oil flow, and companies are not required to report when they do it. This makes perfect sense. Oh yeah, we're fracking, yeah, we're putting water, and they show it all, but they don't show that they do something like this. This would be a typical type PSYOP. We know that they use PSYOPs because they treat these environmental protesters as insurgents. Like that movie Promised Land, remember? Matt Damon was working for the company to push the fracking. Then they actually had the protesters that worked for the same company as Matt Damon. Monsanto found guilty of chemical poisoning in landmark case. So French former farmer says here his injuries, basically a weed killer, caused him to develop lifelong neurological damage and included memory loss, headaches, and stuttering speech. Monsanto sued by Kansas farmer over GMO wheat discovery that hurts U.S. exports, including Japan and South Korea, suspended them. Connecticut approves labeling genetically modified foods. Then we have people protesting the opening of the nuclear plant in Japan. TSA gets rid of full body scanners at U.S. airports. They say because of privacy. Again, it's because you got to get radiated to get on a freaking plane. That's, again, another PSYOP. It's radiation, not privacy. TSA backs down, no small knives on planes. This is the TSA administrator that wanted to do this so we can actually focus on real issues like explosives. Gitmo offers resume writing class for terrorists. Al-Qaeda sets up complaints department. U.S. Islamic group files complaint in FBI killing of Boston bombing suspect's friend. Then we have New York Times warning, trust authorities on Boston bombing or you're nuts. Town massacre photos won't be made public. I wonder why. UK hacking suspect blows kiss in court, which is what any other actor would do. Thank you.